After the guns fell silent each night in World War II, a new enemy crept in: the cold. For millions of soldiers, freezing temperatures were as deadly as any bullet. Ill-equipped and unprepared, they had to improvise to survive the night. The frozen ground beneath them was a greater threat than the air, draining warmth with ruthless efficiency. This is the story of their ingenuity, how they adapted, endured, and learned to outwit the cold. The lessons they paid for in hardship remain vital for survival today. The real killer in winter wasn't the wind or snow, it was the ground itself. Frozen earth acts as a massive heat sink, pulling warmth from any body in contact with it. Soldiers learned quickly, lying directly on the ground meant risking their lives. Insulation from the air was only half the battle. Breaking contact with the ground was essential. They dug shallow scrapes to get below the wind and started searching for anything to use as insulation. Dry leaves, grasses, canvas, cardboard, anything that trapped air was precious. Wet materials were avoided. Water conducts heat away far faster than air. These makeshift beds became lifelines, slowing heat loss and buying precious hours of sleep. The first secret to surviving the night: never let the ground steal your warmth. Every effort started with this principle. Without a barrier beneath you, all other survival tricks were useless. The ground was the true enemy, and learning to fight it was lesson one. This knowledge, earned in bitter cold, became the foundation of winter survival. In the forests, soldiers found their best insulation underfoot: pine and fir boughs. They cut thick branches, piling them deep to create a springy, air-trapping mattress. The trick was to use more than you'd think necessary: a thin layer compressed to nothing. Layering coarse branches first, then finer, needle-rich boughs, they built beds at least a foot thick. The trapped air slowed heat loss, while the scent of pine offered a rare comfort. This method mimicked how animals survive winter, rediscovering ancient skills out of necessity. A well-made bough bed could mean the difference between shivering all night and real restorative sleep. Nature became their ally, providing both material and a psychological boost. Observing and using the environment was as critical as any weapon. The forest floor mattress was a soldier's best defense against the frozen earth. Survival meant learning from the world around you. The greatcoat was more than a uniform. It was a soldier's portable shelter. Pulled tight, it trapped body heat and blocked the wind. Soldiers stuffed it with anything dry, newspapers, spare clothes, to boost insulation. The coat became a makeshift sleeping bag, a personal heat chamber. Breathing inside raised the temperature, but too much moisture could freeze, so balance was key. Mastering the greatcoat's potential was a survival skill in itself. Making the most of what you had was the essence of staying alive. Pride had to be set aside. Huddling together for warmth was essential. Two bodies press close, share heat, and reduce exposure to the cold. Soldiers spooned in rows, rotating positions so no one stayed on the cold edge too long. It was awkward, but survival trumped discomfort. This wasn't about camaraderie, it was about efficiency and staying alive. The group's strength was their best weapon against the cold. In survival, ego is a liability. Cooperation is everything. The men who huddled together weren't weak, they were smart. The lesson: in the cold, relying on each other is as vital as any gear. Shared hardship built resilience. Enduring together was the only way through the night. Heat escapes not just through contact, but as invisible radiation. Soldiers used metal mess kits, helmets or foil wrappers to reflect warmth back toward themselves. Placing these near a fire or inside a shelter bounced heat onto their bodies. Even a small gain in retained warmth made a difference. This simple trick conserved energy and made rest more effective. Today's space blankets use the same principle, reflecting body heat to save lives. On the battlefield, necessity drove this innovation. Every scrap of warmth counted. Going to bed cold was dangerous, so soldiers preheated their sleeping spots. Heated stones, wrapped in cloth, became primitive hot water bottles. Placed at the feet or core, they provided a crucial boost of warmth. Metal canteens filled with hot water served the same purpose. This proactive step reduced the body's energy drain and made sleep restorative. Using fire and stone, soldiers created pockets of warmth in a frozen world. Every resource was used to its fullest. A little heat at the start of the night could mean survival by morning. Deep sleep in the cold could be fatal. Hypothermia crept in unnoticed. As shivering stopped, danger increased. A man might never wake up. To prevent this, soldiers rotated short watches through the night. One stayed semi-alert, monitoring for signs of trouble. If shivering stopped, he'd wake his comrades and get them moving. This brutal routine broke the night into manageable segments. Modern explorers still use this system. Survival in the cold is active, not passive, even during sleep. Rest had to be managed, not surrendered to. How you sleep matters. Curling into a tight ball conserves heat. The fetal position reduces surface area, slowing heat loss. Vital organs are shielded and extremities tucked into warm spots. It's the same instinct animals use in winter. Hands in armpits, feet pressed together. Every detail mattered. Comfort was sacrificed for survival. The right posture was a silent shield against the cold. Geometry became a weapon in the fight for warmth. Some soldiers went further, warming the ground itself before sleeping. They built a fire on their sleeping spot, letting heat penetrate the soil. After extinguishing the fire and clearing embers, they laid down insulation. The pre-warmed earth delayed heat loss, creating a buffer of comfort. This method combined fire, insulation, and foresight. It required effort, but the reward was hours of real rest. Turning the ground from enemy to ally was the pinnacle of field survival. Those who mastered it gained a crucial edge. Preparation was everything. These survival techniques weren't luck. They were hard-won knowledge. Every lesson, from ground insulation to shared warmth, was paid for in hardship. Their ingenuity shaped modern survival principles. The legacy of those frozen nights lives on in every emergency blanket and survival manual. By learning from their experience, we honor their resilience and arm ourselves for the future. If you found value in this history, subscribe to Survival Logic and stay ready for the next lesson.